Learning with Dr. Shivangi. Today's topic is strategic decision making. As in the previous videos, we already started the playlist for the subject human resource management and also discuss various topics related to it like concept of human resource management and personal management, difference among them, concept of strategic management, and so on. In today's video, we'll discuss about this topic. You can also watch other videos. Links are provided in the description box. So before I started the video, I want to say you that if you like my video, please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe my channel, which is Learning with Dr. Shivangi. Now coming to the main topic, which is strategic decision making. So what is the concept of strategic decision making? We'll discuss here. The basic task of management is the making decisions. Managers are constantly required to evaluate alternatives and make decisions regarding a wide range of matters. Just as there are different managerial styles, there are different decision making styles also. Decision making involves qualitative and quantitative analysis, and some decision makers use one form of analysis over another. So strategic decision making is very important for the development of organization in the different types of matters also. Decision making cannot be affected not only by rational judgment but also by intuitive factors such as the personality of the decision maker, peer pressure, the organizational situation, and others. Strategic decision making is a process of formulating a set of long term strategies after considering available options and exercising choice in order to achieve a particular objective that will enhance organization's position in a competitive and hostile environment. Strategic decisions are those that affect the direction of the firm. Decision making is a very important task for any organization. It should be without any peer pressure, organizational situations also. So it should be done very carefully for the development of the organization. These major decisions concerned areas such as new products and markets, acquisitions and mergers, subsidiaries and affiliates, joint ventures and strategic alliances, and other matters. Strategic decision making is usually conducted by the firm's top management, led by the CEO or president of the company. In markets characterized by extreme competition and a rapid pace of change, companies are being forced to compete on the edge. Their strategic thinking can no longer be eliminated to identifying promising industries, core competencies, and strategic positions. So the major decisions of the organizations are depend on the new products, markets, acquisitions, mergers, subsidiaries, and so on. So it should be done by the CEO or president of the company. So they are basically different decisions related to the organization for the development of the organization. Rather, top management is engaged in creating a continuing flow of temporary and shifting competitive advantages related to other competitors and the market being served. As a result, greater emphasis is placed on efficient strategic decision making to create effective strategies. Kathleen M. Eisenhardt, professor of strategy and organization at Stanford University, studied the strategic decision making process at different companies and identified four areas in which effective strategic decision makers outperformed counterparts at less effective firms. According to different types of professors, organization of Stanford University, strategic decision making process at different companies are identified as four areas in effective decision making, which are discussed as below. So the areas of strategic decision making includes building collective intuition, stimulating conflict, maintaining a schedule, and the last is diffusing political behavior. So these are the four main areas of strategic decision making. Now we are discussing here each of the point one by one in detail. So first one is building collective intuition. Effective decision makers build a collective intuition by sharing information at must attend meetings. They reviewed internal or external information, preferring real time operational information over accounting based data. At one firm, each top manager was responsible for gathering and reporting data from a particular area. The manager gained an enhanced understanding of the data by discussing it from defeat perspective at these meetings. The meetings also gave them a chance to know one another better, leading to open and merger interactions. So, building collective intuition on the basis of internal and external information over accounting data is very important. For this, there should be proper gathering of data and reporting of data from the particular area. The second area is stimulating conflict. Many decision makers tend to avoid conflict, fearing it will bog down the decision making process and degenerate into personal attacks. However, Eisenhardt's studies found that in dynamic markets, conflict is a natural feature where reasonable managers will often diverge in assessments of how a market will develop. She found that conflict stimulates innovative thinking, creates a fuller understanding of options, and improves decision effectiveness. So, stimulating conflict is also an area of strategic decision making, because decision making generally want to avoid conflict in the organization for the decision making process properly. Without conflict, decision makers often overlook key elements of the decision and missed opportunities to question assumptions. Executives accelerated conflict by forming diverse executive teams made up by individuals who differed in age, gender, functional background, and corporate experience. Other techniques that can introduce conflict quicker include scenario planning, where executives advocate alternatives that they may or may not favor and play the role of competitors. Debate is encouraged and conflict is stimulated when as broad range of alternatives as possible is presented for discussion. So conflict is sometimes important for the strategic decision making for the organization. Without conflict, decision makers are overlook the elements of decision and miss opportunities to question assumptions. So there are different techniques are also used for strategic decision making, like debate and so on. So the third area of the strategic decision making is maintaining a schedule. Strategic decision makers want to make decisions as quickly as possible. It can be achieved by focusing on the pace of decision making, not the speed with which a decision is made. In order to keep to a specific time frame, executives can alter or adjust the scope of a particular decision to fit the allotted time frame by viewing it as part of larger web of strategic choices. Eisenhower studies found that effective decisions should take a fairly constant 2 or 4 months. So, according to the author, the effective decision making, which is strategic decision, generally takes 2 to 4 months for proper decision making, and it should be achieved by focusing on the pace of decision making, not the speed with which a decision is made. So, decisions that would take less time were considered not important enough for an executive team, while those that appear to take longer involved either too big an issue or management procrastination. By recognizing similarities among strategic decisions, such as those involving new products, new technologies, or acquisitions, executives could more easily gauge the scale of a decision. So, similarities and dissimilarities both are important in the different factors, different variables in the time of decision making, which is strategic. And the last area of strategic decision making is diffusing political behavior. The high stakes of strategic decision making can quickly turn a decision making process into one of the competition among ambitious managers. While less effective strategic decision makers view politics as a natural part of the decision making process, effective strategic decision makers take a negative view of politicking. They not only see it as wasting valuable time, it can distort the information base, since politicking managers will tend to use information to their own advantage. So political behavior sometimes very influence negatively strategic decision making, because it influences negatively the strategic decision making. Politicking can be diffused by emphasizing a collaborative rather than competitive environment and creating common goals. Rather implying homogeneous thinking, common goals suggest that managers have a shared vision of where they want to be or who external competitors are. A balanced power structure in which each key decision maker can also diffuse a politicking among executives. So, politicking can be diffused by emphasizing collaborative rather than competitive environment in decision making process. The clear delineation responsibility facilitates information sharing and other interaction, because each executive is operating from a secure power base Finally, humor can diffuse politicking and help build a collaborative outlook. So this is all about the strategic decision making and the areas of strategic decision making. Now I again summarize all the points so that you can easily understand about the topic. So the basic task of management is the making decisions. So it is very important to take a proper decision for the development of the organization. Decision making cannot affected by not only the rational judgment but by the intuitive factors like internal and external information of the organizations. uh, the major decisions of concerned areas are dependent on the products, markets, acquisitions, mergers, subsidiaries, joint ventures, and so on. The strategic thinking can no longer eliminated by identifying promising industries, core competencies, and strategic positions. Also, top management is generally engaged in the creating continuing flow of temporary and shifting competitive advantages for the decision making process. Basically, there are four types of areas of strategic decision making, which are building collaborative intuition, stimulating conflict, maintaining a schedule, and the last is diffusing political behavior. So, building collaborative intuition is very important for the decision making, in which we can use the internal external information for the decision making process. While in the case of stimulating conflict sometimes important, sometimes unimportant, because it positively and negatively both types of influenced to the decision making process by the experts. And in the third area, maintaining a schedule, strategic decision makers want to make decision in a proper time period. If they are taking less time, then the decision making is not done in a proper way. And the last area is diffusing political behavior. Political behavior generally negatively affect the decision making process, so it should be avoided by the strategy decision makers. So this is all about the strategic decision making. And if you have any query about this topic, or if you want to know about any other topic related to research methodology, business management, business environment, you can ask me through comment box. If you like my video, please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe my channel, which is Learning with Dr. Shivangi. Met in the next video with new topic. Thank you everyone.